Hey everybody, this is Jacob from Wager Me Sports, and yesterday we went 3-5, and I want to talk about this a little bit. So in the last couple days, ever since I've started putting all of the games that meet the criteria on there, we've lost some, and I think the reason is before I was taking the games that only met the criteria the most, that were the best plays, and putting them out there. But I realized that's not a true look at the system we're trying to implement here. So by taking and adjusting that and saying we're going to put them all out there, we've actually seen a little bit of regression in how well we're doing. And so again, we're still 46, 33, and 7, which is still 58%. And we've had a couple bad days. So obviously that could go the other way, and we could have a couple good days, and it's going to jump right back into the 60s. But I did make an adjustment, because something I noticed in the trend of by putting all the games out there, that I wasn't giving enough value to line movement. All right, so I was only giving 5 points per whole run of line movement. Well, I adjusted it to 5 points per half of run of line movement, which definitely kicks some games out of the ones that I think should, that meet the criteria. And so today, on May 12th, 2021, the same games I had yesterday that met the criteria yesterday, all of them didn't meet it today when I adjusted for that. And so I think that that's something that I had wrong. And again, guys, on the first video of this, I said that, this is my first year doing Major League Baseball, and that there would be some growing pains here. And this is one of the adjustments that I think I had to make. And I do think it's better from the numbers that came out after the adjustment. They seemed more realistic from what I've seen so far. And so let's get into it. I got Philadelphia and Washington under 8.5. They got under for us yesterday, barely. The numbers say that, it could move a bunch, and this is still an under. It moved half a point down because they got under yesterday, but it did move half a point down, and it's still an under. So Philadelphia and Washington under 8.5. Next one is the Angels and Houston. This one stalled out for us in the middle of the game yesterday. They didn't keep scoring. They had one big outburst, and then that was it. Guys, this is one of those ones where you have to bet the whole series, the Angels and Houston, because they're going to have a bunch of runs. They're going to have one crappy game, and then they're going to have 3 good games, or 1 crappy game and 2 good games. And so it's over 8.5 again. It still meets the criteria. The spread didn't move any. It's still the same, so it met the criteria. And then St. Louis and Milwaukee, we didn't have this one on there yesterday. But this spread, it's all the way down, the over and under, it's not the spread. The over and under down, all the way down to 7. Well, these teams actually meet it at 7. They didn't meet it at 7.5 or 8. And so this is an over now. St. Louis and Milwaukee over 7. Seattle and the Dodgers, yesterday with 2 aces on the mound, it was at a 7, and there was 10 runs in the game. The ace for the Dodgers got hammered, and this is what I'm saying about the pitching doesn't matter as much as a lot of people want to think it does, and I'll explain that at the end of this video. All right, but so today it's Seattle and the Dodgers over 8. That did go up a whole run from what the 7 is from the normal that it was yesterday, but the pitching is less than it was yesterday. They're less quality. So that's one of the reasons. But I did, even after adjusting the numbers, it still came out as a play. So that's Seattle and the Dodgers over 8. And then Toronto and Atlanta over 8. This is another one that kind of stalled out on us yesterday. They started hitting the ball, bases loaded a few times, and they just didn't get nothing done. But these are 2 of the better home run hitting teams in the game, and their spread actually dropped a little from their opening day. from their opening game. It went from 8.5 down to 8. Oh wait, no, they were 9.5, huh? They went from 9.5 down to 8. So we actually gained some value there. And so it's Toronto and Atlanta over 8. But anyway, so let me recap this. Philadelphia and Washington under 8.5. Angels and Houston over 8.5. St. Louis and Milwaukee over 7. Seattle and the Dodgers over 8. Toronto and Atlanta over 8. All right, so let me talk about the pitching a little bit. Like I said, okay, so the reason I don't factor the pitching in, I do look at it. I do look at who's starting and get in, and you know, if they're an ace like DeGrom or Garrett Cole or something like that, the line should reflect that. So like, you don't ever see DeGrom over and unders at 8. You see him at 6.5. And there's a reason for that, because he shuts teams down. Right? So unless it's just those top 3 guys, I don't really care. And the reason is I'm going to explain to you, okay? So there's 2 things that go into it. First thing first, most of the pitchers are not going to pitch all the game. So they're usually going to pitch till around the 6th inning. So that means there's 3 more innings that there are going to be different pitchers in there. So the averages come through usually in those innings. The other thing is even your really great pitchers, they pitch about 30 times a year, right? They win, if they're having a amazing year, they'll win 18 games, right? That's just a little better than half. So that means half the games that they didn't win, they probably got a no decision on, and the other half they lost, right? So that means if they had 30 games they pitched, and let's say they had a great year and won 18, that leaves 12 games. So 6 of them were no decisions, and 6 of them were losses. So in the losses, they probably got shelled, which would lead to overs. And in the no decisions, there's a good chance they got hit pretty well too. And even in the wins, there's a chance that they got hit, maybe for 3 runs, and their team just happened to hit good. So what I'm saying is the pitching doesn't matter as much as people want to believe. And that's one of the things that I just wanted to relate to y'all. Anyways, guys, again, this is Jacob from hmmm Sports, and thank you guys for sticking with me on this. I'm refining the system. It's going to get better. It's going to get tighter. It's still winning, so there's not an issue there. But I'm going to tighten it up with the knowledge I have from previous sports betting and understanding how this works. And just stick with me, and it's going to get tighter, and it's going to stay in the 60s, and we're going to make money. And you guys have a great day. This is Jacob from hmmm Sports. See ya.